Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Beach Yoga Mexico edition. Thanks for tuning in to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing it on location, so if the video and audio is a little bit off, please forgive us. Also, we're not bringing it to you live today just because the Wi-Fi here in Mexico isn't the best. So today we have with us David and Wilfred and Catherine. All right, everybody, let's start today just standing up, and we'll do a couple breathing exercises. So you can just bring your hands to relax beside you, whatever's comfortable. Make sure that the weight in your feet is evenly weighted between the front and the back, and the inside and the outside. And then try to get your pelvis in a position that's comfortable for your back. Take the shoulders up towards the ears, roll them down the spine, opening up through the front of the chest. And then just begin to breathe. Listening to the sounds of the ocean, relaxing your belly on the inhale. Breathing in deeply and evenly. With the next couple inhales, try to increase the space between the ribs in your body. With each inhale, expanding the ribs a little bit more. Allowing the belly to fully relax as those ribs expand. And then begin to notice the shoulders down your back. Notice how the shoulder blades, as you inhale, slightly move away from each other. And then as you exhale, come towards one another, just slightly. You don't have to move them. Breathing into your lungs is what's moving them to and from. Feel the sensation of the air coming in through the nostrils, swirling down the back of your throat, coming into your lungs. Then we're going to start to inhale the arms, sweeping them up towards the sky, filling up the lungs. And as you inhale here with your arms above your head, notice if your ribs start to pop out, and then tuck them back behind you. If you had a wall behind you, press the back ribs into the wall behind you while keeping the arms up. Continue to breathe deeply and evenly. And then try to take your elbows, which seem to be off to the side, and tuck them in towards one another. So at home, if you're watching, everyone's elbows were kind of out like this. We're going to tuck them in to externally rotate these upper arm bones. Breathing deeply and evenly, checking in with those ribs again, making sure that they're tucked in. And then we're going to grab hold of the right wrist. We're just going to lean over towards the left, opening up through the ribs on the side body. Notice the weight shifting in your feet. Inhale yourself back up, grabbing the opposite wrist, come over to the opposite side. See if you can ground weight through the left hip and foot so that you can reach a little bit further, opening up through the side body. And then back up to stand. Readjust those arms so the elbows come in, externally rotating the upper arm bones, and then take the shoulders away from the ears. Check in with those ribs. If you were at a wall, you're pressing your ribs, the back of your ribs back into the wall. And then exhale the arms down. We're going to take the right hand and take it behind our back and clasp hands on the side. So for those of you at home, we're taking our hands behind us, clasping hands. And then we're going to tilt our head over towards the left shoulder, opening up through the neck, breathing into that space. And then check in with your ribs with that arm behind you that they haven't popped forward. At home, if you're unable to clasp your hands like this, you can take a belt or a strap or just hold your arm there. You'll get the same effect by dropping the right shoulder away from the ear as you stretch and breathe into it. Then lifting the head up, release the clasp, maybe circle out the shoulders. And then we'll do it on the opposite side. So taking the left arm behind the body, clasping the hands, taking the ear towards the opposite shoulder, breathing here. Make sure that you're taking that left shoulder down and away from the ear. And then take your ear towards the opposite shoulder, making sure both shoulders are down. So we're not reaching for the ear with our shoulder at all. We're just trying to get an opening to that left side. Breathing deeply and evenly. And release. Shake out the shoulders. Do whatever you feel is needed in your body at this time. All right, we're going to inhale. We're going to do a couple sun salutes. So inhale, sweeping the arms up. We're going to exhale, and as we exhale, we're going to shift the weight onto the balls of our feet as we take our spine down towards the ground. You can have a slight bend in your knees if that helps, coming down. And then inhale to a flat back. Exhale to plant your hands and step back into high plank. Breathing here. Keep your elbows in as you lower all the way down to your towel. And then take your fingers out wide onto your fingertips. Take your elbows up high and roll your shoulders down your back. So take the shoulders towards your ears and then roll them down your back, and then inhale as your head comes up. And then exhale down, placing your hands underneath your shoulders. Push to all fours. And then exhale as you push your hips up to down dog. Breathing here. Try to elongate through your spine. Tilt your tail up towards the sky. If you can, try to spread your fingers out wide so you're putting pressure through all the different finger pads as well as the palm of your hand. And then up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knee, walk, step, or hop your feet forward between your hands. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, folding the spine down. And then inhale to roll the spine all the way up. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands into prayer. One more time, inhaling the arms up. Swan diving down, keeping the spine flat. Maybe bending through the knees if that feels good for you. Inhale to a flat back. Shift the weight out of your heels. And then put your hands down and step back into high plank. Keeping the elbows in, lower all the way down to the ground. Take your hands out wide and keep your elbows up. Fingertips. Take your shoulders down your back and then roll your spine up. Exhale yourself back down. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Push back through all fours or through plank to get to down dog. We're going to come up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees, hop, step, or walk your feet forward between your hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, curl up through your spine to rise all the way up. Circle, sweep the arms up. Exhale the hands down. We're going to step our feet so our big toes are together and our heels are slightly apart. And then we're going to inhale, deeply bend through the knees. Weight comes into the heels as we come into chair pose. On your inhale, deeply bend through your knees, taking the arms up overhead. If overhead is too much, you can have them in prayer. Shift the weight into your heels. Make sure that you can see your toes. And then exhale your body down, straightening through the legs. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into high plank. For those of you at home, you can always modify. I don't know if you can see Catherine in the back, but her knees are down when she comes into plank. Keeping the elbows in, lower all the way down to the ground. This time, take the same action as your shoulders, as we did with the fingertips wide, but try to keep your hands where they are this time. Rolling the shoulders back, lifting up through the upper spine, keeping the lower body disengaged. Exhale down. And then inhale as you come up to downward dog. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Keeping your pelvis nice and low. Inhale the arms up. And then take your hips and try to shift them. They're probably dumping forward, so we're trying to shift them back. You can bend through the back knee rather than coming up. Breathing here. Try to pull the right hip back, the left hip forward, and then take your arms and spin them forward like we did in the beginning. So we're taking our elbows that tend to come out wide, and we're spinning them forward as we lunge. Exhale, planting the hands, step back to high plank. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, rolling the shoulders back, taking the head up. Exhale, coming down and pushing back to down dog. Up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Step the left foot forward between the hands. Keeping your pelvis nice and low. Inhale, taking the arms up high. And then same motion here. The pelvis will tend to dump forward. So in order to make that a little bit different, we're going to tilt the pelvis. We're going to bend the back knee and maybe sink a little bit more into that front knee. Weight should be in the heel of the front foot. And then pay attention to the arms. Take these elbows, shift them in so our pinkies are facing one another in high lunge. Exhale the arms down. Step back to high plank. If you're feeling up to it here, come down halfway in high plank. Just do half a push-up and push back up. Try to keep those elbows in. One more, half push-up and up. And this time lower all the way down to the ground. Inhale as you come into cobra, taking the head up, rolling the shoulders back. Exhale down. Inhale up to down dog. Either coming through all fours or lifting through plank. Push through the heels, maybe bicycle out the legs. Take a couple of breaths here. We're going to come up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Hop, step, or walk your feet forward between your hands. Toes come to touch. Deeply bend through the knees as you take the upper body up. Lower body stays nice and low, coming into chair pose again. Weight shifts into the heels. Make sure that you can see your toes. Exhale the arms down, straightening through the legs. Inhale, lifting the spine up. Exhale, folding over the legs, and then inhale, rolling up through the spine. All right, we're going to do some work on our hands and knees now. So come on down to all fours. And then we're going to start by trying to stabilize our spine. So imagine that your spine is against a wall behind you. So we're trying to push those lower ribs back into the wall just slightly while maintaining a neutral curve in our lower back. Push up through this part right here. So yeah. And then, does that feel okay for your spine? Yep. Okay. And then take your head up to hit my hand. Right there. Good. All right, keeping your spine nice and neutral, we're going to take the right leg back and just toe tap behind us. And then bring it forward. Do the same with the left. Try to keep the spine absolutely stable. If you're at home right now and you have a book or a yoga block, you could put it on your hips and try to make sure that the yoga block is able to maintain stability. If I was to put a hot coffee on it, it's not going to spill anywhere. And then we're going to take the right leg back straight, flexing through the heel. Try to keep the hips level. And then set it back beside the opposite leg. And do the same with the opposite. Pushing through the heel, flexing through the muscles so the muscles are actually hugging the bone. Taking that knee towards the other one. Opposite side again. And this time as you take the right leg up, when it's elongated, stabilize through the spine. So we're taking the pelvis. Take this hip down just a little bit. There you go. And then bend through that knee, keeping the thigh where it is in space. So you're bending the heel in towards your glute, but you're keeping the thigh parallel to the ground. There we go. Straighten it out. And then bend it again. Straighten it out. Bend it one more time. And then straighten it out and bring it back in beside the opposite. Inhaling, immediately take the other leg back out. Keeping the thigh parallel to the ground, bend through the heel, taking it towards the glute. Inhale it out. And together towards your glute. And out. Lift this part of your back up a little bit. Yeah, and back towards your glute. Good. Relax it back down beside the opposite so you're coming into all fours again. Now, if that felt good and you're feeling fairly stable, you can stay there. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, we're going to just lift the knees an inch or two off the ground. Make sure that your spine stays neutral and try to imagine as though there's a wall behind you. If you have a mirror at home, sometimes that's helpful to get your spine into a place where it's nice and straight and you're not sagging through or pushing up. So with the knees hovering, if you chose that option, we're going to do the same thing, taking the right leg back straight. And then curl the heel towards the glute and back and set it down and relax the knees down. We're going to do that on the opposite side. David, I'm going to get you to walk your hands in just a little bit so they're underneath your shoulders. And then with the opposite side, hover the knees. Inhale the left leg long. Keep that thigh parallel to the ground as you pull the heel in towards your bottom. Push it back out. Set it down. Lower the knees. All right, now that we have this in our body, we're going to do it one more time, but I want to see complete stability through the hips as we do this. So inhale, lift the knees off the ground. Take the right leg long. Keep the right thigh parallel to the ground. Stabilize through the hips. Pull the heel in towards the glute. Exhale out. And down. And rest. Opposite side, lift those knees up. We're engaging through the core. And then as you straighten out through that right leg and bend the heel in towards the bottom, we're engaging through the hamstrings as well. Keep that pelvis stable. Exhale out and down and relax. Good. We're going to do a couple of movements through the breastbone just to try to get more shoulder rotation here. So if everybody can sit down onto their heels, Our hands are going to be forward. And then what I'm going to do is just try to take my collarbone, my breastbone, through the shoulders and away again. I'm not trying to move the shoulders. I'm trying to keep the shoulders static in space as I move my breastbone through and back. So it should look kind of like this. Everybody give it a go. So bring your breastbone through the shoulders and forward. Try to keep the shoulders static so they're not moving towards one another. Your shoulders do not move. And this is getting a little bit more mobility in the thoracic spine. Inhale to come back. Exhale to come forward. This is something that in everyday life doesn't get used a whole lot, especially if you're sitting at a computer. It tends to round as you flex through the thoracic spine. And we're just trying to get mobility, bringing it through and back, opening up that area of the body. Good. Now come on to all fours, and we're going to do that same motion, bringing our breastbone towards the beach and away from the beach. Towards and away. But just the breastbone. I want your spine to stay static. So you're lowering in through this part in your low back. I just want this to move. So keep this static with your pelvis. Catherine's pelvis tends to shift and tilt as she goes in and out. I know you can't see that at home. So she's working to stabilize through her pelvis so her low back doesn't dump. Good. As she takes her breastbone through and back in a push-up type motion. Good job, everybody. We're going to keep those shoulders moving. And if you watched last week, we did quadruped teacups. So we're going to do a modification of that here. We don't have blocks, so we're just going to use our hands. Okay. So everybody can just come into a neutral spine in all fours. And then I'm going to demonstrate this first so that you all have an idea of what we're going to be doing. We're going to take one of the arms forward, and we're going to imagine as though we're holding a block in our palm, keeping the fingers flat. So maybe just watch this one, Catherine, and then you'll be able to do it. We're going to take our hand underneath us, across our chest. We're going to spin it under our belly, and we're going to take it back behind us. Take this shoulder and take it away from the ear, lifting it up and hugging it in. And then we're going to do the opposite, taking it out, spinning it around the belly, coming through the chest, forward, and then it comes out to about a 45-degree angle to lift up, and then taking it down. I'll talk you through it. Everybody at home, I would watch a couple and then try some yourself. So inhale, spin the right palm up, take it forward and out to a 45-degree angle, lifting it up high. Try to keep your head looking down at the ground so that your neck is in line with the rest of your spine. We're going to take that hand in towards our chest. Underneath us, spin around by the belly. Try not to drop your hot tray of coffee. Take it back, extending the arm. Lift that shoulder away from the ear. Lift it up, and then hug it in towards your spine, and then lift up and hug in. And then take it out towards the side. We're going to spin it underneath the belly, underneath the chest, taking it forward and out to a 45-degree angle, lifting up, and then setting it back down. What I'm looking for here is the hips and the shoulders to stay completely stabilized as we do this motion. And what it should improve is the range of motion and mobility that you have within your shoulders. So inhale the left hand up, taking the palm towards the sky. Take that hand out to a 45-degree angle. Then we're going to move it across the chest underneath us. Spin it around the belly. Take the hand back, lift it up, pull the shoulder from the ear. Hug the hand in towards the spine, straighten through the elbow. Try to keep those shoulders stable. That shoulder's going to want to lift to help you. Lift it up, hug it in, and then take it out to the side, revolving underneath the belly, coming out along the chest, taking it forward, lifting it out to a 45-degree angle. Lift it up one more time, and then take it down. We're going to do that one more time on each side. So with the right hand, we're going to extend it forward, palm facing up, hand comes out to a 45-degree angle. Take the palm this way. Spin it underneath the chest as though you're holding a hot cup of coffee. Swirl it around the belly, take it back, lift it up, hug it in. Lift it up, hug it in. And then taking it out towards the side. Putting it underneath the belly, towards the chest, reaching forward and out. So lift up through here. You're dumping through the shoulder a little bit. Good. And then take it down. Opposite side, reaches forward, palm is up, out to a 45-degree angle. And then taking it through the chest, around the belly, towards the hip, taking the shoulder away from the ear, lift up through here. Take it in towards the spine, lift up. Breathe. Take it out towards the side, rotate under the belly. Take it around the front of the chest, forward and out to the side, and then set it back down. Nicely done. All right, push back into down dog, maybe taking your hands forward 1 or 2 palm lengths to give yourself a little bit more space in down dog. Stretch through the front of your body, stretch through your shoulders. Breathing here, tilting the tail up towards the sky. We're going to come up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Step the right foot forward between the hands. Keep the pelvis nice and low. We're going to take the left heel out and up about 2 inches and then inhale up, warrior 1. Make sure that this front knee is over the ankle and not coming forward of the ankle. Take the knee towards the pinky toe side. We're going to take the arms and interlace them behind our back, straightening through the elbows if that's available to you. And then take the torso on the inside of the front knee into humble warrior. Inhale back up to warrior 1. We're going to spin the back heel up and come into lunge. Take the hands into prayer and hook the left elbow with the right knee, spinning towards the camera. And then try to pull that right hip away, maybe bending through that back knee in order to give yourself a little bit more spin, trying to take your sternum, the middle of your chest, towards your thumbs. Breathing here. Revolve all the way down, setting the hands down. Step back to high plank. Keeping the elbows in as you lower down, all the way to the ground. Inhale, taking the head up into little crow. Cobra. Exhale yourself down, and then inhale, take yourself to down dog. We're going to come up to tiptoe, slight bend in the knees. Take the left foot forward between the hands. Right heel comes out and up about 2 inches. Keep the pelvis low as you inhale and windmill the arms up high. Make sure that this front knee is tracking over the ankle and the knee is pulling towards the pinky toe side. Good. Breathing here. We're going to take our hands and interlace them behind us, extending through the arms, trying to straighten them out. And then coming into humble warrior, taking the torso to the inside of that front knee, continuing to pull that front knee towards the pinky toe side. Breathing here. Extend the arms up towards the sky to get a little bit more stretch in the shoulders. And then inhale yourself back to warrior one, taking the hands up high. We're going to spin that back heel up to come into lunge. Take the hands into prayer and hook the elbow to the knee, coming into a twist. Bending through that back knee will give you a little bit more of a twist. And if you guys can see Catherine, which I don't think you can, she's actually put her knee on the ground, which is also an okay modification in this pose. Breathing here. Try to take your bottom ribs towards me and then take your top ribs away from me. Bottom ribs towards me, top ribs away. And then pull back through the left hip. Exhale to unwind, planting the hands down, keeping the elbows in, and plank lower all the way down. Inhale as you roll the shoulders back, coming into cobra. Exhale yourself down, and then come up to down dog. Bend through your knees and just come into child's pose. Well done, everybody. It's really hot here in Mexico, so we have gone a little bit more slowly than what we might have. You should still find a lot of engagement through the core and shoulders and hips and hamstrings in this flow. We're going to try one more, just slight back bend to end our practice. So inhale and just seat yourself up onto your heels. And if you're feeling up to it, we're going to do camel today. If you're not feeling up to it, Catherine has a bit of a headache, then you can just come into Shavasana early if you'd like. For everybody at home, if you could do this up against a wall, that you might find that beneficial. We're going to come up, and if there was a wall in front of me, I would push my hips towards the wall. Make sure that your legs are in line with your hip bones, so your knees are directly below your hip bones. And then we're just going to take our hands to our lower back. Try to squeeze the elbows towards one another. We're going to inhale and extend through the spine. And then we're going to try to keep our neck in line with the rest of our head, so we're not just going to drop our head back. Imagine as though you're pushing your hips into a wall in front of you. We're going to inhale, extend the spine up, and then just begin to tilt back. Continue to push the hips towards the wall in front of you. Continue to squeeze the elbows together. And then inhale yourself back up. If that felt good and you want to just stick with that motion, do that. Otherwise, we're going to begin to bring the hands down towards the heels. I recommend that you tuck your heels up like this, so the heels are a little bit more accessible. So we're going to inhale, lift the spine up, either set the hands on the back, or on the exhale, begin to reach for the heels, pressing the hips forward into the wall. Breathing here, pushing the hips forward. And then inhale yourself up. And then we're going to do one more. So inhale, lifting the spine up, either setting the hands to the low back or reaching for the heels. Continue to press the hips forward as you reach back. Pulling the elbows in towards one another. Lifting through the spine, inhaling to come up. Exhale just to sit back on your heels. And then go ahead and come into Shavasana. Thank you so much to everybody at home for joining us here in Mexico. If you like this flow, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me a comment or send me a like. And we will see you next week, hopefully, if I can get this to load with the Wi-Fi here. Thanks for joining us today. Bye-bye.